Today we skip the part where I ask you, guess who's here, and I just show you who's here because you already know it from the thumbnail. Upcrate 44 arrived, and obviously we need to do something with it. So let's dive into it. Here in the corner there's already a metallic marker peeking out, and it's exactly the same that we already had. Interesting. That looks like watercolors again. First of all, it looks like very beautiful art. I do like those. Then we have some papers. 3 papers. That's nice. That's nice. We have a brush. We have... Is it a brush pen? A calligraphy pen. Markers. Looks like a brush nib and interesting color choices. And obviously watercolor. Oh, that is nice. It's obviously a travel palette. And you have the mixing bowls. That is nice with the ring underneath. I'm not sure that I will ever use it with the ring underneath, because I don't travel with my paints, but I do like it. I still don't understand this one. Fairly pigmented. So far it feels like typical watercolor. Maybe, yeah, a nicer quality. I think the way they are arranged is interesting, but they are very pigmented. That is something I notice, or I feel they are. It's not like I'm an expert in watercolor. But I really do like the colors. I do feel the color palette so far is more... It gives me more autumn than spring, but I do think... Oh, I did use the wrong color. This one first. How different can you... Okay, you are different. Then we need to try out these markers that have quite an interesting range of colors. Okay, this is quite the stiff brush nib. More like a bullet nib, but still a little bit brush-esque. So, we will see if this is an extra or if it is meant to go with all of this, but we already know it. Let's try it out at the side, but yeah, exactly the same as before, but on this paper it is not metallic. Okay, whoa, sorry. There are different widths in line thickness. Oh, and that, ooh, we have have a gray. So it varies a little bit in line thickness, and we have a black and a gray. What is quite nice. I will go through the bottle post now, and we will see us when I'm done reading. Now you have to deal with voice over me again, because English and drawing weren't happening at the same time today. I did try to record a voiceover, but yeah, everything I said was quite confusing and the rest was silent. So, voice over me it is. Yay! Let's get into the idea that I'm already sketching out here. I wanted to return to the mythical creatures, and yeah, one mythical being I am drawing, since I am drawing, is the Medusa. Because, let's face it, sometimes I can be quite of a drama queen, and a bit of drama goes a long way for me. So, the version of the Medusa that is the poor, unfortunate girl that was taken advantage of, and she is more or less misjudged and punished for something that wasn't even her fault. Tragic backstory. That is doing it for me all the time. Yay! And the hobby therapists among you will be able to interpret quite a lot now, because normally, well, most of the time, I am drawing the Medusa with a handheld mirror in her hand that she is more or less trying to look into, and her hair, the snakes, are trying to get her not to do that. So, you already might notice where we are going with that, because the Medusa looking into the mirror would turn her into stone. Not a good idea. This time I didn't want to go that route. Basically, I'm going a far more devastating and cruel road. Today we have a sad-looking, crying Medusa and a hand that is touching her from outside of the frame that is turned to stone. Tragic drama. Everything. I do really like to give the snake hair some personality on its own. So, yeah, when I normally depict her with her handheld mirror, the snakes try to get her not to do anything stupid. In this picture, they feel with her. Especially cute is the one that is head bumping her to comfort her. I think it is quite sweet. Strange, but sweet. Would I want to be head bumped by a snake? Maybe not, but cute nonetheless. Now to the content of the upgrade box. First, the markers. I like them, they work nice, but I don't understand them. In the context of the box. Because, yeah, markers, base layer, you can put watercolor on top, okay, but for me, watercolor and markers are a medium you can get very detailed with, but I would prefer to do the details with pencils, because you can get finer details with them, and yeah, using a base of markers or watercolor and then pencils on top, I like the result. Using markers and watercolor pencils, both of them are, with both of them you can get details, but it's a bit more tricky. So yeah, I would normally just use one or the other, but it turned out quite nice. I have to admit, I do love the watercolors. They mix great, they are very blendable. I'm not sure if it is the watercolors itself or the paper. I might have to test that on a different paper, but I think it's the combination. And yeah, I really liked that you could pick up the paint later again to blend it more into each other. You don't get entirely smooth edges, but you can get a fair amount of blending done. That is something I normally don't like that much with watercolor, that you have the splotches that obviously give watercolor the watercolor effect, but a bit more blended. I do like that. So yeah, with that I just painted everything, colored everything in a base layer and left that to dry. When I went in for the second time, I did use the detail brush that the upgrade provided, and oh my gosh, that thing is great. There was one hair that decided to split from the rest in the end, but the amount of detail I was able to get with this brush was very, very nice. So the shading really went well, and I thought while I was shading it, I would like to have pencils, but yeah, in the end they don't really were necessary, and that is something I enjoyed quite a lot, to get a nice effect, a nice shading. And yeah, I think I have to credit the brush for this. when I was quite happy so far, I took out the liner and yeah, first I was like, do I start with gray outlines and then go back in with black, or how? I decided to go with what I now know, and that is starting with black lines. And while I was getting closer to the face, or to the details of the face to be exact, I decided it would be nice to use some gray there. And let me tell you one thing, the ability to change between a gray and a black without it being that noticeable, because the same nib and works fairly the same way, was quite nice, because especially when it comes to the eyes, the upper lid of course gets black because eyeliner and you know, but the bottom waterline, lash line, whatever, I just painted it in gray, and that looks very, very nice, I think. So I was quite happy about the gray. And then I took out a white pencil, or a white pen, paint marker, that was in another upgrade box, because I wanted to give it some light reflections. My gosh, English and I are not friends today. And then, because when I looked at it, there was something missing, I took out the watercolor pencils, the watercolor again, my gosh, and gave the snake some scaly details. First I was very, very concerned it could go wrong, but it looked nice, and then I decided to give her freckles, what made her even cuter. And yeah, when everything is done, gosh, I am so happy with her. I do really like her. I think she turned out very nice, and I hope you like her as well. I would really want to know, or I really want to know what you think about her. Yeah, and with this, I have to say I really did enjoy this box. It felt quite safe, I have to say, and familiar for me, because I may not be the best in watercolor, but I did work with watercolor from time to time, and yeah, I work with markers most of the time. What I really, really enjoyed was the fineliner. That was something I was very impressed by, because normally I don't really love the brush nibs on liners, but with this one it was very nice, and I do think I have to look up where I can get it here in Germany. So that is something I did enjoy quite a lot. One last thing, the next upgrade box will come a bit later for me, because I am in Britain again until the 3rd of June, so the May box will come a bit later. I hope you can deal with that, and we will see us in another video. Have a great time, and until then, bye.